I'm Seth Feroce, IFBB professional bodybuilder, teen muscle tech athlete, been a fan since I was young. But most importantly, I'm a father and a husband of two most beautiful women in the world. People said, Seth, you're having a kid now, you're gonna get a career job. They're like, you're never gonna be able to continue to bodybuild or lift weights, just give up. And I said, no. I said, this is something that I've always wanted to do and I'm gonna continue to try. If I have to train at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, that's what I'm gonna do. I said, just whatever you do, don't take the gym away from me. Let me be me. And sure enough, that's actually what it turned into. My wife, she's actually the one who pushed me to say, you need to compete now. She said, Seth, I'm tired of living my life like this. You think you're a bodybuilder, but you don't compete. It's time to compete. And we did. I started competing in 2009. I did the Northern Kentucky. From there, I went on to do the NPC Pittsburgh Championships. And you know, it's truly a blessing because this actually has given me the opportunity to provide for my family. Any way to put food on the table, you know, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Has pretty much been my main motivator, is my family. Being a good father, being a good husband, you know, stayed home with my daughter and raised her while my wife works full time, but I stayed home with her, and it's pretty surreal, you know, looking back at it and telling the story. It's surreal that everything has worked out as it has. Everybody is different in bodybuilding. Everybody knows that by now. You could give me your program and I could follow it to a T, but I'm not gonna look like you. But the biggest thing is to learn your body and to say, well, this is what he does and we look very similar. I'm gonna try this and see how it works and perfect it to my needs. Intensity. That's kind of been my motto since I was young, was just being extremely intense about everything. Of course, it's evolved from the time whenever I was 14 to now. Dorian Yates coined it best for me watching Blood and Guts, the high intensity training, you know, 1 to 2 warm-up sets and then just 1 or 2 sets where you just let loose and go absolutely crazy and do as many as you can. Failures, you know, the partials, the negatives, things like that. Whenever I go into the gym, I have a set idea of what I want to do. And if I'm doing the exercise and I'm just not feeling it, I will move on and say, it's just not working for me today. That's not to say it doesn't work at all, but right now at this moment, I'm just not feeling it, so I'm gonna move on. I've come to realize that how I feel is the most important part of training. As far as the sets, I've been developing just a concept. You're doing the exercise and say we work into the high intensity, you know, I do 2 to 3 warm-up sets. Say I warm up, I'll do my work set, just go to failure with it. And then say I move up to my next work set, and this will be my final set. So I'll go, you know, my full repetition, my full range of motion, and then I'll just keep repping it out, just keep pumping, get the partials, and then drop them and say I got 16 reps. Well, I'll wait 10 to 15 seconds, I'll grab half the weight and do twice the reps. It's been working for me. I really enjoy training that way. I think that it's given me the opportunity to hit the heavy weights, but it also gives me the opportunity to focus on the isolation of the upper chest with the lighter weight. We'll see whenever it comes showtime if my train of thought actually is proven on paper, so to say. Right now I'm training 6 days a week. Typical bodybuilder exercises. I do cardio 5 days a week. I take 1 full day off, train chest and I should say side delts, train back, quads, shoulders or arms, and then I'll do hamstrings on the 6th day and then rest on the 7th. I usually train around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That usually fits my schedule best. I do cardio anywhere between 5 and 6 a.m. Right now I do about 35 minutes every morning on a set mill. My nickname was Chubbs. I was a chubby white kid, so I need to do cardio. However, I've learned that we're not running marathons. Along those lines, it's like I could say I do 45 minutes of cardio every morning, but what type of cardio are you doing? Are you doing interval training, or are you keeping your heart rate above a certain number? Right now in the program that I'm doing, I'm just trying to stay full. I'm trying to get big. I'm just trying to, you know, grow into the show, so to say. Fat loss isn't my #1 priority at this time. My physique is pretty much where it needs to be. I just need to refine it, go through the maturity process. You know, I'm 28 years old, so things are starting to pop a little bit better. But I think in the next couple years, everything will come together, get a lot harder. Everybody says you get better with age in bodybuilding. I hope it's true. With my nutrition, you know, it's obviously changed over the years. Whenever I was in college, it was eat everything in front of me and just keep lifting weights to get as big as possible. And then as a competitor, you realize that you need to stay in some type of conditioning in the off season to be able to get in the good condition for your contest prep. The most important thing is not to get fixated on a number that's on the scale. To look in the mirror and say, is this what I want to look like? Okay, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I want to be bigger. Well, if you want to be bigger, you have to eat more. I look at things as very simplistically rather than overcompensating your thought process. So if I look in the mirror and say I need to be bigger, I need to eat more food. Now the hardest thing is figuring out what type of food actually works for you to get bigger. I've noticed for me that if I just begin to eat more carbohydrates and a little more healthy fats, I will grow. Probably the past 4 months I realized that red meat doesn't work well with me. It just doesn't sit well in my stomach, it doesn't digest well, so I've moved to all poultry products and fish. I've never had better digestion. The one thing that I've really fixated on and I preach to a lot of young kids is digestion, absorption, elimination. We all know about having bad elimination, so if something goes wrong in the elimination process, then go back to digestion and whatever you ate probably didn't sit well and you realize it didn't come out right either. And along that process, the absorption is the most important part. So if you're not absorbing all the nutrients properly, if something goes through your body too quickly, then you didn't absorb it right. And if something's sitting in your stomach for too long, chances are you're not really absorbing anything at all because you're just going to keep feeding yourself because you're supposed to eat every 3 hours. So if something's not agreeing with my stomach, I just don't eat it. This year is the first time for me eating like this. I've never eaten like this before. I cut out all the oatmeal. Oatmeal it's very glutinous. But in bodybuilding, why do you eat oatmeal? Because everybody else eats oatmeal. I've kind of got away from that and I'm doing my own thing to test it out. The only way you're gonna find out if your theories work is to put them in reality. And right now, like I said, I'm in the phase of just trying to eat very clean foods, no gluten, no dairy, no preservatives. Don't do all organic because it's too expensive. I don't have that kind of money yet. So I pretty much do all natural things. I limit the amount of starch that I eat. So I eat a lot of brown rice, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes probably once a day. I've also realized that any type of sweetener, the artificial sweeteners are they wreak havoc on the body. I'm not a scientist or a nutritionist to go into great detail of the actual terminology, but what I can say is that it just doesn't agree with me, so I don't eat it. In that place of it, I use all organic sugar, and I've noticed that I haven't gotten fat from it. I actually look better than I previously did eating, 20 packets of Splenda a day. Even though there was no calories in it, I just didn't look the way I thought I should. And I'm eating 30 grams of sugar in the morning with my cream of rice, and I actually look better than I previously did at 12 weeks out. My theories are working, but I just have to see how it goes as I get closer to the show. Last year, I noticed that I just didn't have the look that I previously did, and I think it was because of the overabundance of food that I was eating. My body just wasn't processing them correctly, so I just eat anything that agrees with me. If it doesn't agree with me, I don't eat it. Cheat meals consist of sushi. No more hamburgers and french fries, not a lot of sweets. It's very simplistic. Some people think, oh, that's a terrible way to live, but this is what I do, this is what I have to do, and I just kind of train myself to like it. With supplementation, the word says it all. It's a supplement. It supplements what we do no matter what type of training we're doing, whether it's CrossFit, just being in shape, bodybuilding, whatever it is, we all need to supplement because we're not normal people. We usually take our bodies to a limit that not many other people do, and sometimes food isn't enough. For me, with supplements, getting down to bare to it, it all depends on what you like. Again, this all reverts back to if something doesn't feel right, then you shouldn't do it. A whey protein post-workout or, first thing in the morning is very important because, first thing in the morning whenever we wake up as bodybuilders with so much muscle on our bodies is your body is in a catabolic state for however long you've been sleeping. So if you are in a growth phase, it's very smart to get some type of very quick digesting and absorbing protein, such as whey isolate. Again, after you're done working out, everybody needs to get their protein in. I prefer protein powder. First thing in the morning, I usually take a couple scoops of amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins and muscle, so you need to stay consistent with some type of amino acid. A pre-workout is always important. A lot of people that have a full work schedule throughout their day, and then they go to the gym at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening after they just worked 10 hours, you kind of need a pick-me-up to go to the gym. Who doesn't like to have a pump like that? Arnold coined the phrase that I'm not sure I'm going to say right now, but everybody knows which one I'm talking about. The pump, having the pump. And that's what makes this fun. That's what makes the gym addicting, and for you to actually have that good quality feeling, I believe that a good pre-workout does create that. Post-workout, it depends, again, where you're at. Creatine is always good to have, and I'm not trying to really grow that much, so creatine would be an off-season thing for me, and you really can't go wrong with that. There's a lot of products on the market, and it's up to everybody to find the right one for them. lot of people said I couldn't do it. Pretty much everybody except a select group of people said I couldn't do it. Having to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. to do your cardio, to eat consistently, to stay consistent with everything, to train hard, and to come into the gym with the same drive in your head is extremely difficult. Negativity has got me so far, but you always can't think the world's against you, because it's not. You know, it's a work in progress. In bodybuilding, you know, you're always just trying to beat yourself. You just want to make sure that you go out and consistently produce something better than you previously did. You know, make sure that you're better than your previous show. See what works best for you and try and take yourself to the next level. End result is just to continue to do this, continue to motivate people, continue to use the position that I'm in a positive manner. That's it for me and my philosophies on training, nutrition, supplementation. If you have any questions for me, you can check me out on Facebook, Seth Feroce, or Seth Feroce fan page, or you can check me out on my Body Space page. And for more content like we just did here, just keep coming back to Bodybuilding.com.